It all started like a fairy tale reborn. When Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck rekindled their romance after nearly 2 decades apart, fans around the world couldn't believe it. Two of Hollywood's biggest stars, once torn apart by fame and timing, found their way back to each other. It was the kind of love story that felt scripted for a movie, only this one was real. But as the saying goes, sometimes even the brightest love stories cast the darkest shadows. And the latest footage showing visible tension between the two has everyone asking the same question. What really happened to Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck's marriage? Back in the early 2000s, Jennifer and Ben were the ultimate celebrity couple. Paparazzi dubbed them Bennifer, and they were everywhere: red carpets, magazines, interviews. They starred together in movies, shared extravagant public displays of affection, and seemed unstoppable. But the attention became too much. In 2004, just days before their planned wedding, they called everything off. Years passed. They moved on, married other people, built separate lives, and found success in their own right. Yet in 2021, like a twist no one saw coming, they reconnected. It wasn't just nostalgia. It looked like fate. The photos of them kissing on a yacht, celebrating birthdays together, and walking hand in hand through Los Angeles became internet gold. Fans fell in love with the idea of love again. When they finally tied the knot in 2022, first in an intimate Las Vegas ceremony and later in a grand Georgia celebration, it felt like the universe had corrected an old mistake. J.Lo wore a breathtaking gown, Ben looked emotional, and their blended families came together in what seemed like perfect harmony. Every media outlet declared it a new chapter for both stars. Lopez gushed about their second chance at love, telling fans how grateful she was to finally be with the one that got away. It was pure romance, or at least it appeared that way on the surface. But even perfect stories can start to crack quietly. As the honeymoon glow faded, subtle differences began to show. Jennifer is known for her discipline, perfectionism, and high-energy lifestyle, early workouts, clean eating, constant projects. Ben, on the other hand, has always been more laid back, often preferring quiet time, poker nights, and casual routines. Those opposite rhythms, once cute and complementary, started to create friction. Insiders close to the couple noticed at first. They weren't attending events together as often. When they did, Ben's body language told a story of exhaustion or frustration, while Jennifer seemed to carry the weight of maintaining their public image. The smiles looked thinner, the hand-holding less frequent. By late 2024, rumors were everywhere. Fans began spotting Ben without his wedding ring. Paparazzi photos showed him living at a different address. At one point, tabloids even reported that he had quietly moved out of their shared home in Beverly Hills. J.Lo, meanwhile, appeared at major red carpet events alone, always looking composed, but noticeably silent about her husband. Sources claimed they were living separate lives while still trying to figure things out. And then came the viral moment that changed everything. A paparazzi video surfaced online showing Jennifer and Ben in what looked like a heated conversation outside their car. Jennifer looked upset, Ben appeared impatient, and cameras caught him slamming the door just a little too hard. The clip spread like wildfire across social media. Within hours, Bennifer trouble was trending. Fans dissected every second, every facial expression, every gesture. Some defended them, saying it was just a couple having a bad day. Others insisted it was proof that the marriage was falling apart. Either way, the illusion of perfection had cracked wide open. As the buzz grew louder, entertainment insiders began to confirm what fans suspected. Reports claimed that Ben and Jennifer had been on different pages for months. Friends of the couple allegedly revealed that their schedules barely aligned anymore. J.Lo was focused on her tour, film projects, and business ventures. Ben was directing, acting, and co-parenting his kids from his previous marriage to Jennifer Garner. The distance, both physical and emotional, seemed impossible to bridge. But what really fueled speculation were the small but telling public moments: photos of Ben looking frustrated during public outings, Jennifer posting cryptic captions about peace and trust, and finally, her removing the last few pictures of him from her social media grid. By early 2025, the narrative had shifted from rumor to reality. Multiple outlets reported that Ben had officially filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. According to court filings, they listed their separation date months earlier than fans realized, suggesting that the split had been in motion long before the news broke. Despite the heartbreak, there were no bitter legal battles or explosive accusations. Sources described the split as amicable, noting that both stars wanted to handle things privately for the sake of their families. Still, that didn't stop the media from spinning every angle. Headlines like J-Lo's Empire vs. Ben's Freedom and Bennifer's Final Act dominated entertainment pages for weeks. In a rare interview, Ben finally spoke about the breakup. Calm, measured, and clearly guarded, he explained that despite the speculation, there was no scandal, no betrayal, and no drama. He said sometimes love stories just reach their natural end. He admitted that the spotlight had always made things harder and that trying to live authentically under constant scrutiny was nearly impossible. Viewers could sense the exhaustion in his tone, the quiet acceptance of someone who had fought hard but finally let go. Meanwhile, Bennifer took a different route. She didn't immediately speak out, but when she finally did, it was through an emotional post reflecting on love, growth, and forgiveness. She thanked fans for their support and wrote that some endings are not failures, they're just part of life's design. It was raw, heartfelt, and very J-Lo, graceful even in heartbreak. Fans were divided. Some blamed the media for pressuring the couple to live under unrealistic expectations. Others believed their personalities were just too different. There were even those who speculated that their love story had been revived too quickly, that nostalgia blurred the reality of who they had become over the years. But one thing was clear, Bennifer, the dream couple who gave people hope in second chances, was no more. What remained were lessons about fame, timing, and the fragile balance between personal happiness and public image. Behind the scenes, industry analysts pointed out how both stars seemed to be entering new chapters professionally. Ben threw himself into directing and production, focusing on meaningful stories that reflected his maturity and experience. Bennifer, as always, channeled her emotions into her art. Rumors suggest her next album might explore themes of closure and rebirth. In a strange way, both appeared to be healing in their own creative spaces. But the timing of everything, the leaked video, the separate appearances, the sudden social media silence, kept audiences glued to the saga, making it one of the most talked about celebrity stories of the year. What fascinated many was how the couple's second breakup mirrored their first. Back in 2004, they cited media pressure as one of the reasons they couldn't make it work. 2 decades later, it seemed like history repeated itself. Every look, every argument, every photo became clickbait. Even when they tried to protect their privacy, cameras found them. It's ironic, what made them iconic also tore them apart. Their chemistry was undeniable, but so was the weight of public expectation. Living a private life as two of the world's most recognizable faces is nearly impossible, and Bennifer paid that price twice. Those who knew them personally described the breakup as sad but inevitable. Bennifer reportedly wanted to keep pushing forward, stay in the spotlight, keep growing her brand. Ben, in contrast, was tired of the chaos that fame brought into his life. He wanted simplicity, peace, and predictability. It's not that they didn't love each other, they just couldn't align their worlds. Their love story had always been fiery, passionate, and intense. But that same fire that drew them together may have also burned too bright to last. Still, there's no denying that their love made an impact. They reminded the world that second chances exist, that sometimes it's okay to try again, even if the first time ended in heartbreak. And while their latest chapter ended differently than fans hoped, it also showed a rare kind of maturity. No public feuds, no messy drama, just two people realizing that love doesn't always mean forever. Sometimes it just means you shared something real, even if it couldn't last. The images that surfaced, the ones caught on camera, became symbolic. They weren't just about a marriage ending. They captured the raw humanity of two people under pressure. You could see years of emotion in those brief seconds. Frustration, sadness, confusion. For viewers, it wasn't just gossip. It was a reminder that even the most glamorous lives have cracks behind the smiles. And maybe that's why the story resonated so deeply. People saw themselves in Bennifer, in the hope that love can return, and in the pain when it still doesn't work out. In the months that followed, both Bennifer and Ben seemed to find their footing again. Ben was spotted spending quiet time with his kids, looking calmer, even smiling more. Bennifer, ever the phoenix, focused on her projects and self-growth. There were whispers that she was planning a documentary reflecting on her life and lessons learned. Whether true or not, it wouldn't surprise anyone. J-Lo has always turned heartbreak into power. And as for Ben, his friends say he's been focusing on staying grounded, away from Hollywood's chaos. Two people, once inseparable, now walking their separate paths, but perhaps more at peace than before. So, what really happened between Bennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck? The truth is less dramatic than the headlines suggest, but more human than most realize. They tried. They loved deeply. They fought against the odds. But love alone isn't always enough. Fame, distance, and time changed them both. What was once a fairy tale reunion became a hard-earned lesson about growth and reality. Maybe their story isn't about failure, it's about courage. The courage to love again, to walk away when it no longer fits, and to keep believing that even endings can hold beauty. And as fans still replay that viral video, analyzing every moment, one can't help but wonder, if they hadn't been caught on camera, would the world have seen a different side of their love? Or did that one clip simply reveal what had already been quietly unraveling behind closed doors? Either way, Bennifer's story, once Hollywood's ultimate comeback, has now become one of its most unforgettable heartbreaks. And while the cameras may have caught the end, the truth is that the love, in its own imperfect way, was always real.